Try it right now. Run your fingers along your own ribs. Dig into your side, scratch under your arm, drag your nails across the bottom of your foot. Go ahead, really try to tickle yourself. Nothing. Maybe a faint, dull sensation, definitely not that squirming, breathless, can't take it feeling. You could do this all day and never once make yourself laugh. Now imagine someone else doing the exact same thing. The same fingers, the same spot, the same pressure. Suddenly you're helpless. You're twisting away, gasping, laughing before they've even touched you, begging them to stop. One of the most out-of-control feelings your body can produce. So here's the strange part. It's the same skin, the same nerves firing, the same ribs, the same fingertips, the same movement. Physically, almost nothing has changed. The only thing that's different is who is doing it. And somehow that one fact, the sender of the touch, completely decides whether you feel almost nothing or whether you come apart at the seams. Why? Why can't you tickle yourself? Why does it only work when it's someone else? The answer is one of the most quietly mind-bending things your brain does, and it's happening every second of your life, not just when you're being tickled. Because to understand why you can't tickle yourself, you have to understand a secret your brain is keeping from you. You are not actually feeling the world as it is. Your brain is editing your senses in real time, deciding which sensations matter and which ones to erase, and it is erasing far more than you'd ever guess. The tickle is just the one place where you can catch it in the act. So let me show you what's really going on. By the end, you'll understand the hidden prediction machine running inside your skull, the reason your brain deliberately mutes your own touch, the clever experiment where scientists used a robot to make people tickle themselves, and the genuinely unsettling group of people who actually can. Let's start with the tickle itself, because there isn't just one kind. There are two. The first kind is the light one. That feathery, crawling, itchy feeling when something barely grazes your skin, like a bug walking across your arm or a single hair dragging over your neck. Scientists call this nismesis. It's low-key, a little annoying, and it's basically an alarm system. It's your skin saying something is on you, brush it off. You don't need anyone else for this one. A stray thread can trigger it, but that's not the tickle we're really talking about. The real tickle, the helpless, shrieking, thrashing kind, has its own name: gargalysis. This is the deep tickle, the one that comes from firm pressure on very specific places. Your ribs, your armpits, your neck, the soles of your feet. And gargalysis is bizarre for a bunch of reasons. It makes you laugh, but it isn't really joy. You can laugh hysterically while genuinely wanting it to stop. It targets only certain spots on the body, almost always the soft, vulnerable ones. And crucially, this is the kind you cannot do to yourself no matter how hard you try. So why not? To answer that, we have to talk about the single most important job your brain has, one you never think about. And it has almost nothing to do with tickling. Your brain's biggest problem is telling the difference between you and everything else, between what you are doing and what is being done to you. Think about it. Right now, your body is drowning in sensation. Your clothes are pressing against your skin. Your tongue is sitting in your mouth. Your eyes are darting around, which should smear the whole world into a blur every time they move, but it doesn't. Your own footsteps, your own breathing, your own heartbeat, the feeling of your hair moving when you turn your head. If you consciously felt every single one of these at full volume, you would be completely overwhelmed. You'd never be able to notice the one thing that actually matters, the light touch on your shoulder that means someone is behind you. So your brain does something ingenious. It predicts. Every single time you send a command to move your body, your brain sends that command to your muscles, but it also keeps a copy for itself. Scientists call this an efference copy, and with that copy, your brain runs a little simulation, a forward model, that predicts exactly what that movement is about to feel like before the feeling even arrives. It calculates in advance the sensations your own action is going to create. And then it does the crucial thing. When the real sensation comes back a fraction of a second later, your brain compares it to the prediction. And if they match, if the feeling is exactly what you predicted, your brain turns the volume down. It cancels it out. It says, "That was just me, I already knew about that, ignore it." This is called sensory attenuation, and it is running constantly. It's why you don't notice the feeling of your own tongue right now, until I mention it, and suddenly, there it is. It's why your own voice sounds so wrong on a recording, because normally your brain is dampening the sound of your own speech as you produce it. Your brain is a prediction engine whose entire purpose is to erase the expected so you can notice the unexpected. The predictable gets muted, only surprise gets through. Now you can probably see where the tickle comes in. When you try to tickle yourself, your brain knows everything in advance. It sent the command to your hand. It has the efference copy. It knows precisely where your fingers are going, how fast, how hard, and exactly when they'll land on your ribs. The sensation is perfectly predicted. So the moment it arrives, your brain does what it always does with your own actions. It cancels it. It attenuates the touch down to almost nothing. You literally cannot surprise yourself, because the part of you doing the tickling and the part being tickled are the same brain, sharing the same script. But when someone else tickles you, their fingers are chaos. You have no efference copy for their hand. Your brain can't predict the timing, the spot, the pressure, the rhythm. Nothing gets canceled. The full, raw, unfiltered signal comes screaming through at maximum volume, hitting the most sensitive, vulnerable parts of your body with total unpredictability. And your nervous system responds the only way it knows how to sudden, uncontrollable input in your soft spots. It panics, it laughs, it thrashes. That's the answer, in essence. You can't tickle yourself because your brain always knows it's you. The tickle depends on surprise, and you can never surprise yourself. But scientists don't like to just tell a nice story. They wanted to prove it. And the way they did it is genuinely brilliant. At University College London, researchers led by Sarah Jane Blakemore built a setup with a little robot. They had people lie down and use their own hand to control a lever, and that lever moved a piece of soft foam that would stroke the palm of their other hand. So the person was, in effect, tickling themselves, but through a machine. And just like always, it barely registered. Predictable, self-generated, boring, canceled. Then they changed one thing. They introduced a delay. Now when you moved the lever, the foam would touch your palm a fraction of a second later than expected. Just a small lag between your action and the sensation. And the tickle came back. The more delay they added, the more ticklish it felt. They also tried rotating the direction, so the foam moved on a slightly different path than your hand commanded. Same result, the mismatch made it ticklish again. Even though you were still the one doing it, the instant your brain's prediction stopped perfectly matching the sensation, the cancellation broke down and the feeling flooded back in. They had found the exact dial. It wasn't about who was moving the foam, it was about whether the brain could predict it, break the prediction, and you can tickle yourself after all. So that's the machinery, but it raises a deeper question. Why does this system even exist for tickling? Why are we ticklish at all? Why would evolution build a response that makes you laugh helplessly when someone squeezes your ribs? And notice something we skipped over. The ticklish spots are not random. The neck, the armpits, the ribs and belly, the insides of the thighs, the feet. Look at that list again, because it's basically a map of the most vulnerable, least protected, most dangerous places to be attacked on the human body. The throat, the major arteries, the soft organs. These are exactly the spots you'd instinctively guard in a fight. That's probably not a coincidence. One leading idea is that ticklishness is a kind of built-in training program for defending your weak points. The tickle reflex, that instant twisting away, the arm clamping down, the flinch, is a rehearsal of self-defense, practiced through play, Arbeidsschurten. It teaches you from infancy to protect your vulnerable zones fast and automatically, and it's wrapped in laughter and play precisely so that it happens between people who trust each other, because that's the other half of it. Tickling is deeply social. Think about who can tickle you. It's parents, siblings, close friends, partners. It's one of the very first games a parent plays with a baby. That gentle build-up, I'm gonna get you, and then the tickle and the shriek of laughter. It's a way of bonding, of play fighting safely, of building trust through a tiny, controlled dose of vulnerability. The laughter of tickling may have evolved as a signal, a way of saying, this is play, we're okay. Keep going, but I know you won't really hurt me. It's one of the only forms of laughter that isn't about anything funny at all. It's pure physical connection. And that's why it fundamentally requires another person. Tickling isn't just about unpredictable touch, it's about unpredictable touch from another agent, another mind you can't fully predict. Your own brain is a closed loop. Another person is an open one. The whole experience only exists in the gap between you and someone else. Which brings us to the strangest, most unsettling part of all of this. Remember, the reason you can't tickle yourself is that your brain reliably tags your own actions as your own. It knows the difference between "I did that" and "the world did that." That self-monitoring system is so fundamental that it usually runs flawlessly your entire life. You never mistake your own hand for someone else's. But in some people, that system doesn't work right. Research has found that certain people with schizophrenia, particularly those who experience delusions of control, the feeling that their movements are being controlled by outside forces, actually can tickle themselves. The prediction, the cancellation, the tagging of self-generated action, it's disrupted. Their brain doesn't fully register their own touch as their own, so it doesn't cancel it, and the tickle sneaks through. Sit with what that means for a second. The same broken mechanism that lets a person tickle themselves may be part of why they feel their own thoughts and movements belong to someone else. That quiet little system that mutes your own touch isn't a trivial party trick. It's part of the deep foundation that lets you feel like a single, unified self, an I that owns its own actions in a world of everything that isn't you. Tickling is just the one silly, ordinary place where that foundation pokes up into daylight where you can actually see it. So the next time someone goes for your ribs and you dissolve into helpless laughter, or the next time you try to tickle yourself and feel that flat, muffled nothing, remember what's really happening in there. You can't tickle yourself, not because your fingers are wrong or your skin is different, but because your brain, every millisecond of your life, is quietly running a prediction of you. It's forever whispering, "That's just us." Ignore it, erasing the feeling of your own body so you can stay tuned to the world outside. The tickle only breaks through when it comes from beyond that boundary, from another person, another mind, someone you can't predict. You were never really trying to feel your own touch. You were trying to surprise yourself. And the one thing your brain will never ever let you do is sneak up on the one person it's known all along.